In a world where tens of thousands of indie games are released each year, indie devs cry out to be heard, to be seen. And it's up to two brothers to get to know them.
Super Interview.
Hello world, my name is Max Stein and I love indie games.
I'm the Megabuck. I really love indie games.
And welcome to the Super Interview Brothers, where Buck and I interview real life indie developers to get to know them as people. Today in the studio, we have the creator of multiple games, Home Safety Hotline being probably the most popular one as of right now. We're talking to Nicholas Lives. Nicholas, say hello, sir.
Hello!
He's in spooky lighting because his game is spooky as fuck. So, Nicholas, we talked to your counter... Say again?
Jake Burkett, yeah.
Jake Burkett about Forbidden Solitaire. So go check out that episode of Super Interview Brothers, which is a spooky full-motion video, solitaire, vibey as fuck,
so
awesome
many great vibes.
Puzzle game. It's so many good things.
That's why I
Nicholas
love your
has
shit.
a new game that's coming out soon that we want to talk to him about, but as I aforementioned, we do want to talk to him about his, dare I say, hit game, Home Safety Hotline. Nicholas, I have a few questions for you, though, before we get into that.
Sure.
And most importantly, we have to ask you the classic Super Interview Brothers question. Can you remember how old you were when you first played a video game? And can you remember what video game it was?
Oh, gosh. Chances are it was like Pajama Sam when I was like 8 or something, or 5. I don't know how old I was. I have vague memories of playing on the family computer, noodling around with whatever was on there. So there was like Pajama Sam games. There was Warcraft 2 was installed, so I'd occasionally open that up.
Fuck
die
yeah.
immediately.
How was Warcraft 2 on the computer? Do you have an older brother?
I think my dad was the one who played it mainly.
Oh,
so,
cool, Dad.
Yeah.
Rocks, damn.
He kind of introduced me to games and such, and he had one really scary game that I still keep a copy around to this day.
Heck yeah.
That because it stuck with me forever. If you haven't heard of The Dark Eye, this game was a very mysterious entity in my home, and I would occasionally open up the file for this, get too scared, and then close it. And that was pretty much my experience with it.
Wow. Can you describe the gameplay of it, or at least
Yes.
as far as you were okay, yeah, what is it?
So basically, it's a stop-motion FMV adventure game retelling the stories of Edgar Allan Poe. And it does it from both the killer's perspective and from the victim's perspective in each story. So it's like a bunch of vignettes that are all stop-motion animated. And it's just got this... It's just oozing this really weird, creepy style. All the puppets are eyeless. And it's really freaky and weird, and I don't know, that one really stuck with me, so that one just that's why I got to keep that one around. Actually, they did finally re-release this on Steam. Like, you can actually buy it now. It used to be abandonware for a long time. But with a big asterisk, which is that it can't be called The Dark Eye, because since that game came out, there's been an RPG series called The Dark Eye.
So what's it called on Steam?
So are you ready for this? It's called... hold on, let me... I forget
I wish list it right now.
I hope it's The Brown Eye. I really hope it's...
okay. That would be a better title than what they picked.
It's funny. You're speaking my language in the FMV stuff, dude. I have a huge Sega CD collection.
Let him cook. Relax.
He's looking up the name. I'm buffering for him.
So this is called Now it's called Edgar Allan Poe's Interactive Horror 1995 Edition.
Fuck yeah. It just falls right off the tongue. It's so easy to say.
Whoever bought the rights to it does not have a marketing team.
Yeah, he does not.
What...
They're like, you're not here for the name. Ooh.
My next question for you,
Shivers
Nicholas.
and Seventh Guest and all that good vibes out of this. I'm down, man.
My next question is,
it's great.
Do you have a favorite video game of all time?
Yes.
What is it? Yes, awesome. So
Just
many people are like, what day is it? What's the weather like outside?
Am I in the mood for a story? Or?
Yeah, this one's pretty firmly cemented because I replay it once a year with my wife because it's just a mutual favorite of ours. We both just love playing through. I guess it's multiple games, but it's whatever. The BioShock series as a whole is would you kindly? Is just my peak gaming experience. So
it's true. That first one, if you like turned off the lights and just immersed yourself in Rapture, holy crap.
That game's fucking horrifying. You don't need to turn off the lights. That game is straight up terrifying. I could not get through the first one when I was in high school. That shit scared the fuck out of me.
It's very, very scary. It's very unique in the way, like, I mean, I came to, find later that, of course, a lot of the things BioShock does, it predates via System Shock and things, but it was my first experience with those storytelling techniques like audio diaries and things like that. And it does them really well. Like I can't really get my fix in that BioShocky way from any other game in the way that they tell their story. I got System Shock 2 recently, but I'm just not as into sci-fi. That's the honest truth of it. So it's just a different vibe. I don't know. There's a combination of factors, vibes and unique setting and obviously nostalgia playing some degree.
It's a killer vibe though. The game, especially the first one, holy smokes.
I like the commitment to enjoying your own nostalgia. I don't like when people are like, well, maybe I just like it because that's why you like it. Whatever.
That's okay.
So BioShock, first person horror kind of adventure game. Is that your preferred genre of video games, or is BioShock just sort of a standalone cradle of amazing men, and really you're just like, actually my favorite fighting games are my favorite genre?
Oh yeah. No, it's pretty similar. Like it does inform the rest of the kind of stuff I tend to like. I tend to like play a lot of like stuff like Resident Evil series, obviously, it's a lot of horror stuff, a lot of I like first person, third person campaign-based things. Those are very fun for me. I like story-driven games for the most part. Like that's.
You ever fuck with like The Witcher? That's like kind of like horror adjacent, big long campaign, third person, or no? I
tried The Witcher 3 for a little bit, and I couldn't quite. It didn't quite click with me. I don't know why. I think it. Yeah, it's.
I feel you.
I think
the combat was too hard for me. I was getting my ass handed to me by wolves, and I was like, this is not going to get any better from this. I was like, this has got to be one of the lowest tier enemies, and I'm just getting absolutely shit-housed.
It's pretty tough, that one.
Yeah.
I want to try again one of these days to get back into it. There's a couple. Sometimes the game doesn't click the first couple times, and then I don't know. Sometimes magic happens on a revisit, but
yeah. Have you been playing anything lately in your spare? Obviously, you're doing a lot of work making video games.
A couple games
but
going,
what do you turn to just at the end of the day on a regular day?
Lately, it's been. I guess this is kind of counter to what I just said, but oh well. I guess it's.
We just like games here, right?
I just like games, but it depends. Like certain games fit into, or certain genres kind of fit into a certain other part of my life, which is like, I just want to relax and like not think about things. So story-driven games tend to not be what I do for that. Like it's more like if I'm in the mood for a movie, I'll either watch a story game or watch a movie. But like, lately it's been like like a run of Mugenics.
Fuck yeah, dude. I was gonna suggest it if you didn't say it. I I dead ass was like, it's dark, it's funny, it's engaging but not hard. You don't have to fucking like pay attention that hard. Oh man, so good, so good. Have you been playing Slay the Spire 2 at all?
No, I have not.
Are you a Magic the Gathering person?
I got into Hearthstone for a little while, but that's
close enough. Yeah.
And Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day when I was, a teenager. But yeah.
That's amazing, and I feel like I knew it. I knew it was going to come out of me. So tell me about your journey as a game designer. Have you always wanted to make games, or did you do something before this? And then what's your story?
I used to really want to be a filmmaker. That was my main goal.
We're laughing because literally everyone says that, including myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just
I also went to film school.
Common trajectory. Games are full of
good storytellers.
Filmmakers.
That's what you are. You're a storyteller.
Storyteller. Yes. But yeah, I think at one point I realized I was better at doing the game thing just because in high school there was like this competition. I was kind of like dabbling into both like for a while. Like I had Game Maker installed on my computer like from a really early age, and I just like noodling around with that and like making stuff with that. It was just kind of part of numerous different creative outlets for me. It was like comic books was one of them. I would draw comic books, I would make films, and I would make games on my computer that I had a Mac that couldn't run Game Maker, so it actually was emulating Windows, and then
the Windows
using Game
boot
Maker
thing. I had that too when I was a kid.
Kind of one of those like really weird setups. And what would happen is the games I would make would run at like half the frame rate because they would be like made in this weird
they're Inception games.
Inception
a game within a game.
There was a program back then that would let you run Windows on a Mac, but you ran it as like a program. It wasn't like a dual boot situation.
Right,
yeah,
right.
It was extremely slow, and so what would happen is I would make a game and I would balance it based on the frame rate that I was playing it at home, and I would like put it on a USB drive. I'd give it to a friend, and they would be like, "This game's way too goddamn fast." Like it would be double the speed on their computer, and so everything I was like, I swear this game is like playable on my computer.
But it's like that scene in Alien that they filmed in slow motion against the Queen, and then they sped it up.
Can you remember any of the early games you made? Do you remember any of them at all?
Yeah. I think one of them was just like, I mean, they were just like extremely basic little things, but one of them was like a clown that bounced around a maze, because all I knew how to do was I knew Game Maker has this like really easy like just bounce off a wall function, and I was like, okay, cool, I don't really have to program much. I just have to program movement controls, and the game will be just ricocheting off walls. And so it'll just be trying to navigate a maze while ricocheting. And that was the one
like double the speed.
Double the speed, and then it's suddenly just like zipping around the screen, and there's never a chance in hell that you can like get up this certain like tiny path that your character keeps ricocheting between the walls. Yeah, it was like using like stock assets and stuff, because I was just trying to figure out the program. After a while, I think I started making sprites and stuff, but I never got really far with any of those projects as a kid. Because
that's fun. That's cool. You remember it though. That's cool.
That is cool. At what point did you become Night Signal? Like, when did you start officially like being like, I'm gonna make video games that are gonna go on Steam?
Well, that one's kind of a weirder story, because that's so this isn't like my first company. This is my second company.
Okay.
So I've been making games for like 12 years now, professionally, like full time, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And so I initially started a company with some friends called Deli Interactive right out of high school, or right out of college, basically. And it just so happened that our first game that we made together did well enough to like fund our livelihoods.
Fuck yeah, congratulations.
So it was, which is a rare thing, and also was the cause of our downfall, because we got big-headed real fast, right? Because like the first thing we make does really well. It's called We Need to Go Deeper. It was just like, I guess now you would call it like a friend swap game. But it was a submarine co-op game, basically, where you're running a submarine together. And that did really well in early access. And we just like updated that for years. And then when it came to make our next game, we had major hubris and said, why don't we make a game in a completely different genre that doesn't appeal at all to the audience that we just found.
Have garnered, yes.
So our next game was obviously like an Animal Crossing type game.
Okay.
It's a natural progression. Natural progression.
You go from multiplayer, submarine, Lovecraftian thing to
single player world
Wait,
builder.
I'd play a Lovecraftian Animal Crossing. Hold on, how far off did you go?
Oh, I mean, I tried to keep the spooky stuff in there for a while. It kept actually originally. So the Animal Crossing game was a game called Camp Canyonwood, and that was originally pitched as like a Twin Peaks meets Animal Crossing.
Okay.
And just over time, the Twin Peaks elements kind of got downplayed because we just realized we were making a different thing. Like I think we pivoted because Swery65, the creator of Deadly Premonition, was making his own Twin Peaks meets Animal Crossing game. And we were like, well, we can't compete with him.
That.
Yeah, he's the king of this shit. So we're not going to be able, so we pivoted and turned it into like a summer camp setting instead. And the creepy stuff was more like spooky cryptids in the woods and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now I see where it's going.
Yes.
Anyway, that game lingered on for like 5 years in development. Came out and then just was dead on arrival. I think it came out like a week within Cult of the Lamb coming out, and got, very similar kind of premise, but theirs like went way harder, and also was just, they had Devolver, marketing money and stuff like that behind them, and I don't know. It was a big wave that we got buried in, and one of the people from that studio, David Johnson, who did music and sound, he and I just decided to kind of go and do our own like small project focused studio that was like intentionally pigeonholing ourselves in one genre, which was horror. We were gonna upfront kind of be like, okay, we're making one type of game, it's horror games, and they're all gonna be small, and they're not gonna take 5 years to make. They're gonna take 1 to 2 years max.
Restrictions sometimes make the best art. You know what I'm saying? If you just focus.
Doesn't have to be complicated.
So is that what became Night Signal?
That was Night. So that's when Night Signal happened. Yes.
How'd you land on that name? What does that name mean to you?
That name is actually just the name of the first game that developer and I made together, which is called Night Signal, which is our first horror
one about
game.
the TV.
About the TV. And we had made that prior to actually like establishing Night Signal as a company. That was kind of like a solo project of mine that I had him help me with.
Okay.
But that kind of represented the foray into horror stuff. So it was like, I don't know, that seems like a cool name anyway. So
yes,
let's just
like
keep using that.
Homage to late night spooky B movies or something.
Mac, I've never seen this game. I love Blippo, but you don't show me Night Signal? What?
Yeah, sorry. Do you know what Blippo is?
I did hear about that like very, very recently, and I was like, hey, wait a second. This is pretty similar. This is cool.
The video game, basically, like with huge air quotes around the word video game. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
No,
it's really
I
great.
love that though. I need to play that one.
Because you don't play it, you kind of watch it. So it's perfect because you can put it on in the background and flip the channels every so often when the programs, have run their cycle.
Okay.
But you seem to be closer to my age, and so it literally has one of those guide channels that slowly scrolls and shows you what.
And there's like a person talking in the background about the cable itself. You're like, Time Warner's got the dip, but it's Blippo is blah, blah, blah.
It's like Rick and Morty's interdimensional cable in an FMV format.
Right. Sure. So let's talk about Home Safety Hotline. please,
Yeah,
if you
sure.
don't mind, because we played that game in preparation for this, like I said.
And obviously
we
seen it all over when it came out, too, because holy smokes.
Yeah.
Everybody was playing it when it came out.
For real.
Damn.
So,
all right. Well, I mean, that's okay. Yeah, that's cool. I don't ever hear people talk about it like that. I've kind of witnessed it, but it's weird to hear that. I
think I follow a lot of streamers that play the kind of games that you like and make and play. So there were a lot of streamers at the time, too, that I was watching playing that.
For our listeners, if you're curious, Home Safety Hotline is I've come to calling these games assessment types games. So stuff like Papers, Please, or like Quarantine Zone, where you're sort of like checking, you're basically just like given information, and then you've got this large index of things that you're having to sift through clues, essentially.
You have to become an expert in the lore.
It's like puzzle game adjacent, but the entirety of the puzzle revolves around just information and then just like looking for things. But this one revolves around you working at a place called the Home Safety Hotline, and you get calls from people who have like problems, with a wide range of problems. And your job is to basically tell them what the problem in their house is. And it's also like one of those meta type games. It's one of the games where you start it up and then you're looking at a computer, quote unquote, and you have to start
That's running
up
like
the software
Windows
of the
95.
Yes, which I am a sucker for that type of shit. Dan Mullins is like my favorite dude, and he does that as well. And I just love getting immersed in that type of way. There's a little backstory sort of played through that portion of the game as well, in the forms of like you getting scary ass emails about like, don't work there's crazy shit happening in there. It's a very scary game, but it's mostly vibey, I'd say. There's no like jump scares, at least as far as I played. It just puts you in a very tense mood, to say the very least.
Missing children is kind of scary, even though it's not jump scary.
Right. So what, Nicholas, inspired you to make Home Safety Hotline? Any movie in particular, any other game in particular, any home life experience in particular,
sure.
Or was this just all just imagination? You just said, I got
or
something that's scary. Yeah, a nightmare.
Life experience. Yeah, there was, I didn't work at a call center, but my wife did for a few years. And so I'd always hear stories from her. And so that's just kind of, burning in the back of the head of the idea of call center stuff. But what actually like properly inspired it was that we both, my wife and I worked at a failed theme park called Evermore Park. I don't know if you've ever heard of Evermore Park. You might have seen Jenny Nicholson did like a 5-hour video on it.
Documentary thing? I love that kind of shit.
Documentary kind of thing.
Cool.
And it was basically like this rich guy from Utah is trying to basically make a live action MMO theme park type
Fuck
experience.
yes, I was hoping you were going to say that.
Like a medieval fair,
like
24/7.
Medieval fair, EverQuest, but as a theme park kind of vibe. And we were really into the idea when we saw it, and so we both kind of threw our hats in, and we wound up working there for a while. And it was just a total disaster, as you can imagine, from that premise.
Fuck.
And having actors playing NPCs is just rife with problems. Bathroom breaks mean that your quest giver is gone for some reason, and you just like
have you tried turning the game off and on again?
That's what the sign should have said. Just reboot it. Just Alt F4 and then.
Oh my god, that's such an amazingly hilarious that you got to work there as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool, actually.
You were there as the ship went down.
This giant puppet called the Fae King. And I would do this. I would do my best, like Pinhead impression as
we have such quests to show you.
Because they kind of just like gave you the loosest prompt and then just let you go wild, and so I did. And I got in trouble sometimes by pushing those limits a little bit.
Your pain is
They
my
don't.
pleasure.
They don't want pain. You're not supposed to be dragging the patrons to hell. Stop it, faking.
That's really good, dude. That's fucking rocks.
We live in the Orlando area, so like Disney and Universal, all that stuff is, we've lived
That's
here
why
our
when
whole
you said
lives.
theme park, we both perked up because we go to so many like theme parks living
At least we
here,
did
and
as
we're like,
kids,
failed
yeah.
theme park. We
Failed
wish.
theme
Yeah,
parks.
Halloween Horror Nights. We go to Halloween Horror Nights like every year, and we both worked there in college. And
I
whatnot,
love
too,
those.
so.
But
So more on Home Safety Hotline. I wanted to comment that as far as these assessment games go, this one was by far had the largest index of things that I've ever seen. And not like in a shitty slop way. I mean, you get creative as fuck with
They're
these.
very
like,
well thought out.
Like in
thank you.
Quarantine Zone, it's like scan him with the thing, and if you find a blemish, he's a zombie. Or in Papers, Please, it's like the stamps gotta look like this. It's more like you're just literally looking for something.
Yeah. You got
Whereas
rules,
in Home Safety Hotline, Nicholas, have you ever played Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney?
No.
You're familiar with though the.
Are you
the
familiar
Ace
with it
Attorney?
at all?
I am familiar with them, but I haven't properly
Just the objection
played one.
part.
Your game reminded me, and the puzzles therein, the calls, I should say, reminded me a lot more of the cross examination
Cross-examination,
in
yeah.
Phoenix
Okay.
Wright, where, like, for example, dear listener or viewer, there's one where a guy calls and he's like, my son doesn't want to mow the lawn because he says he feels sick. But the lawn is crazy. The grass outside is so tall, it's like a jungle out there. Bye. That's all he says. And it was just like, huh. And so you have to like use context clues and critical thinking. Spoilers, I think it was ticks.
Yeah.
And the only way you go to the ticks entry, and it's just like, well, they live in tropical climates, it says, according to this thing. And they did said his lawn was like a jungle. And it says if you get bit by a tick,
You don't feel
you
well.
can get sick. And so that's maybe why he's saying his son is feeling like, it's not just like, it's so much more interesting than just like, than just like, look, I got black spots. Okay,
Right.
it's this. Like,
Down
no.
the black spot.
It's
context
much
clues.
deeper.
And the
Yes.
Phoenix Wright games, they're attorney games, right? That's
Right.
but they're visual novels basically. And that's all those games are, is just here's what I saw. I'm trying to prove this guy innocent or guilty. Usually innocent. So your job in that game basically is to find the statement that the witness says that has a discrepancy in it and then prove why through the evidence. It's kind of the same formula. You did kind of the same formula in a totally different universe and a totally different perspective.
universe, and when all of the options are presented to you at the same time,
Then it's a
you
lot.
have to enter this. You have to enter this state of like leaning in because there's a lot of information. So you're and then man, the music in this game kicks ass. When you're on hold, when you put someone on hold,
So good.
you get great
Muzak.
music to be like shuffling through the shit too. But then there'll be moments when the call ends and it's silence, and you're just perusing all the index because you like, there's a lot of shit in here. I might as well read ahead. And then the phone will ring and you'll be like, God damn it, Jesus fucking Christ, fucking phone,
jump
dude.
scare.
I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you about this. Is such an obscure question, but the phone sound effect.
Yeah.
Did you custom make that?
Oh yeah. No,
Okay, because I
Yeah.
was like, this.
We-
I was talking to Buck beforehand. I was like, it would be so easy for him to go out and just grab a sample of a office telephone.
And I'm like,
if you
no,
grew
I
up in
think
the
when I was a
90s,
kid in the 80s, I remember hearing phones that
if you
kind
grew
of
up in
sounded
the 80s
like
or
that.
90s, you know what an office telephone sounds like. And I was like, and that is not it. That is a custom sound effect that is more dreadful than a normal fucking phone, dude. So
No, we did joke about, we were like, we should make it kind of abrupt and upset. Like it should be, this is our jump scare, is the phone calling you. So that's like, it's just a comedy jump scare.
But it's true though, because you're focused on something else. You're focused on something else, right?
whatever
No.
notes it undulates between are scary. I don't know other way to put it. It's like,
It hits the right
it's like,
pitch.
Jesus fucking
Oh,
Christ,
yeah.
dude. It's,
David is really, really good at doing like, at putting these like weird elements to sound effects that he does and stuff. He's a very thoughtful sound designer.
I
So
did want to
he's
talk
very
more
cool.
about the voiceovers in a moment, but before we move off of the index and the clues and all this shit in there, I wanted to mention to you, dear viewer, like the index of clues that you start out with is like normal shit, like mice
moles,
and termites and moles. But then on like your second day
we live in Florida, we know what most of those things are, so I didn't have to look up the thing for most of those.
Normal shit. And then the second day, you get access to like fictional shit. And the fictional shit is not just like, again, it's not like a thing where it's just like, it could be very easy to just be like, scary devil, horned devil, spooky monster, but they're not. No. Like, it's more like the SCP Foundation. Do you know what that is, Nicholas?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
It's more like that.
that makes sense.
Where like I was talking to Buck, and when you first get access to the fictional stuff, the first one I stumbled upon fiction-wise was pipe growth.
Oh yeah.
And I flipped to it, looked at the picture, read the description, and it made my skin crawl. Like,
and he didn't even read the danger part where it talks about eating children. He didn't even read that part.
Get past the description. For you listening, it's like,
love it.
This is a fungus that grows in a pipe, and it'll grow and then expand and do damage to your, like, it's being very, clinical about the description of it. And then next to it is this picture of a PVC pipe that has been bloated by this thing. And it just, I'm literally getting goosebumps right now talking about it because it's just disturbing. It's so, because pipes are just everywhere. It's not like Jason, you know what I mean? Like, pipes are just over, and it's like, oh, I don't want that in my pipe.
I'm going to go visit Mac at his house, and he's going to be covering all the pipes in his house.
And that's just one thing. There's so many that are just like that, where they're just gross and weird in such a beautiful, subtle way. And then not to mention the fictional, like, gnome-like creatures that live in your house that tidy up, but if you don't leave a puddle of cream for them, then they'll turn into a fucking giant, horrifying monster, dude.
I love it.
You did a very good. Was that fun to think of all those things, or was that tedious?
No, it was. I mean, I would say that was the most fun part for me, was because it was just a good excuse to just come up with a bunch of
world creating,
fun, goofy monster. Yeah, it's like the world building stuff is like often, I think, a very like what do you call it? Like it's oh man, what's the word for it? It's like an indulgent writing thing normally. And so it was nice that we were able to figure out a game that made it not indulgent, but actually that is the gameplay. So the gameplay is knowing all of the lore, and so writing lore is now no longer indulgent. Now it's useful for the game. So it's just a very
it's not the flavor text at the bottom of the magic card anymore, right? It's
exactly.
The magic
card.
If magic was just the flavor text.
Right.
If it was just flavor text.
That's true though. We had David Jaffe, the guy that created Twisted Metal and God of War, on the show earlier this year, and he said that is his favorite thing. He is a world builder. He loves to create the world and the environment that it's all in, and then leaves the game to most of the people that worked for him.
I mean, that was always my favorite part of Twisted Metal, to be fair. I did love the weird characters and shit. Like
especially
that. I think
Black was phenomenal.
Anytime I've seen like other people try to do like Twisted Metal inspired stuff, they're usually missing out on the weird, wacky characters. I'm like, no, that's like the meat. You gotta have that. You can't just have the car combat.
Exactly. Everybody can't be in no, this guy's got a red car. Like, oh, great.
Yeah.
The creating of the index, obviously, bunch of writing, but then I'd imagine you'd have to go, now we have to actually do these calls.
Oh, yeah.
Where we have to come up with the puzzle, quote unquote, which I imagine was a bit harder. But my comment on that, first of all, I already mentioned the calls are cool in a cryptic sort of, you got to use your brain type of way, but also they're usually quite funny
and fully voice acted.
Fully voice acted,
yes.
And I just wanted to say, who did you find actors for that, or is it you?
Are they all
you? Friends? Yeah, but to say sometimes people will be like, it's just me and the other guy, because they're good. They're so fucking good and funny, dude.
Well, we as I mentioned, we were, after working at Evermore, we definitely knew a lot of actors after that. Because we had worked with a lot of actors, and my wife is big into community theater. She's big into just the acting scene in general. And so she had done an anime voice acting competition at an anime convention, and just met an entire guild of voice actors who were first-time voice actors who wanted a credit in a game, and
they did it.
They fucking sell it.
Yeah.
They crush it, dude. Every single one of them absolutely destroys it. And there's just like, listener or viewer, sometimes you'll get like crank calls, at least in the first couple days. And it's like Twig Sigmund and Buzz Goober are two of the guys that crank call you. And Buzz Goober just says, "No, I got these whippersnappers yelping and whining. Yeah, they're way yelping and whining." That fucking shit had me rolling on the floor laughing. That shit was so goddamn funny. The one guy that calls that has a problem with moles, and he just goes, "There's huge piles of brown everywhere. It's all this brown."
And you want to think it's like poop, right? Like it's animal poop, and you're like,
but it's
wait
dirt.
a minute,
Yeah.
he didn't say poop at all. He didn't.
Big piles of brown took me the fuck out. There's one crank call where the guy's just like, it sounds like the voice actor is having a great time because he's like ends the prank call laughing. He just is like laughing at his own jokes, which is always the fucking best. Dude.
That was David, the composer, sound designer, who did the prank calls.
Oh, that's so funny, man.
And we based that all the prank calls. By the way, if you like those, you need to look up because it's based on a real prank caller, and we wound up getting this real prank caller to do a voice in the DLC.
Oh, that's awesome.
And his name is Longmont Potion Castle. And it's his calls are the hardest I've ever laughed. Like,
really?
He is the weirdest, funniest guy. He does all these weird things to his voice, kind of like the ones in the game. And he's just an expert at coming up with nonsense that sounds vaguely plausible enough on the moment.
To keep them on the phone.
It's very weird.
Yes.
Like,
that's awesome.
Fucking rocks. Oh my god! It didn't need to be written so funnily. You really could have. You could have copped out and not been funny because it's already scary. But it's both. Yeah, that rocks.
Magical.
So, Buck, did you have any more questions or comments about Home Safety Hotline before I ask Nicholas a little bit about Please Insert Disc?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd always like to mention this, and I think you'll really love this as well, Nick, because on Steam they always recommend like play this game because you liked these games, right? And so on your page for Home Safety Hotline, they recommend it to me because I played Not for Broadcast. I don't know if you've seen that. Wales Interactive and Heart of the Forest, also a both Wales Interactive FMV games.
Well, I guess I gotta check them out then. Wales Interactive?
They're a company in the UK Nick. That only makes new FMV games, dude.
You have opened don't get him started. Don't get him started. We'll be here all day.
Dude, Dead Reset is like a sci-fi Groundhog Day FMV game.
Oh, man. Okay.
Not for Broadcast has actual gameplay to it because you're in a TV studio and you have to like balance the sound and switch TV inputs. But it's got this weird exposition of like this like Russian oligarchy or something taking over while you're running the TV station. And Heart of the Forest is just a story about these friends lost in the forest, and it gets really like fantasy, fae, scary really fast.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's very up my alley.
If you love FMV games, just check out like everything they've made in the last
they've done.
5, 6, 7 years. They're all like 2 to 4
Some of your
hours.
stuff has reminded us of their stuff.
Yes.
Speaking of your stuff, you have a game that's on the horizon. It is called Please Insert Disc, and from what I gather, it is about navigating the HUD of a cursed PlayStation 2.
Yes.
Which sounds amazing.
This is Mac's favorite game
thank you.
is Inscription. That's his favorite video game of like all time.
Of all time is Inscription.
You're scratching every itch.
You fuck with Dan Mullins at all, Nick?
I haven't. I'll be honest. I have not played any of his games yet. I hear the comparisons a lot, and to some degree, that's actually made me want to avoid playing them so that I'm not like stepping on his toes intentionally. It's like, well, if we cross paths, we cross paths. But
it's the Grant Morrison, Alan Moore thing, where Alan Moore thinks Grant Morrison is like stealing his thing, and it's like, you didn't invent wizardry, Alan Moore. All right, 2 people can be wizards. But the point is that he has a game called Pony Island that is about playing a cursed arcade game.
Yes,
and this gives me a similar vibe, but the arcade game, you know, is not in your house. It's kind of like takes place. It's not familiar, but a cursed home console is much more identifiable. A lot of people have home consoles at their house. So tell me about as much as you can. That is about Please Insert Disc.
So yeah, it's basically at its core just like a very like it's just sort of an abstract puzzle game. About trying to get your your broken console working again. You get the red screen of death as you boot up your game, and it's just kind of a hands-off like rabbit hole simulator. Like, just keep going down these different paths, keep poking at things and finding ways to get like access to deeper parts of the console. So you wind up like unlocking things like the ability to see the code of every screen that you're on. You get the ability to kind of like get a peek into like what the developers were doing when they were designing the UI and stuff. I've had to kind of figure out what the game is as I've been making it, because it really did just start with the concept of the red screen of death is scary, and surely
everyone.
there's a game in there somewhere.
Are you using the towers, the memory card towers properly? I see them in the interfaces.
Oh no,
Are
there's
you
no.
using them properly, young
do you know
man?
this? Do you know how those work?
Yes, how they get like taller when you have like more memory or something like that. There's like more of them that are tall.
Don't fuck it up, Nick. I don't see that minute detail in your video game.
That was a way of, if he didn't know, I was giving him an idea. That was just me.
Buck secretly
Like,
wants to make a
there's
video
memory
game
towers
so
there,
badly,
hey.
and he doesn't want to tell anybody. That's secretly what it is.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
do you have any
sorry.
a release date?
For Please
Mind it all.
This.
Right
I know
now.
he's got Forbidden Solitaire launching like
I know.
already by the time this
very
episode
very
comes
soon
out.
we're releasing that. I'm hoping to release it this year because it's like I would say it's like 50% of the way there. Like it's 50% of the puzzles. I say 50%. It's theoretical. I can end at any time I want. I just have to figure out where a logical endpoint is. It's kind of hard because Steam doesn't like short games, so you're kind of incentivized to try to make it like a little longer. Like I think it's like an hour long right now, and I'm not super. I've Night Signal was an hour long, and I don't know. People get really grumpy at things that are less than like 2 hours.
It was just an experience. Like, oh, shut up.
It was just an experience.
Wow.
So we're kind of trying to like see,
Make it longer. Wow.
make it a little longer.
So archaic.
That's cool.
That seems like some 90s shit where they're like,
Yeah.
no one's going to buy Metroid unless you would have to die a million times.
Yeah.
Just
Yes,
like,
that's why we're adding a really frustrating level where monkeys toss you around.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
to make the game longer.
we
I was
made
making
the jump extra janky so
My
that you
game-
have less fun playing it.
my
Like,
gauge
thank
whenever I
you.
pay like 10 or 20 or $25 for a game. My gauge is always, well, I've spent $20 on dumber shit than that, so that was fun for the $20.
Regardless of how dumb it is, the length is like, who cares? A game is an hour long, and it's at the Enya Dream Barbecue. You can beat that whole game in an hour and a half. It's one of the best video games that came out last year. Nobody knows about it because it's only an hour and a half long.
Which one is this? I'm curious.
It's called
Yes.
Enya.
Enya?
ENA.
ENA?
Dream Barbecue.
Dream Barbecue. Okay.
It's a psychedelic first-person adventure game
And
that
it's
is like
$3.99.
beyond exploitation. But if you
okay.
like David Lynch and acid, like you'll like this game.
All right.
It's good, dude. It was amazing. I loved it.
Why is this free? God damn it! Turn
They have like
for
a
your
they have a
games.
Because
supporter
the next
tier
ones
thing
they're going
that's
to make you pay
$10.
for. They have the next
Okay.
ones that are going to make you pay for. And when you play this one, like I did, I will absolutely fucking pay for the next one because that game fucking rocks.
That's great. I mean,
You would love
I'm
it,
glad
honestly.
to hear that.
That is all I have for you today, Nick. Sorry for taking so much of your time, but you're just an interesting guy.
Thank you.
Buck, do you have any more
good.
questions or comments for Nick before we get his plugs and whatnot?
Great. I'm excited for Forbidden Solitaire, and I'm excited to see more of Please Insert Disc.
Me too.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
Nick, where else can people? I mean, obviously, go to Steam, wishlist Forbidden Solitaire, wishlist, all of Nick's games. Buy them, in fact, if you can.
Give the man money.
Yeah.
would you?
Yeah, because they're good.
Send
They're
me
good
money.
games. Like I said, if
I-
you like those games where you gotta like fucking decipher clues and shit, this one's really good. Where else can people give you money, talk to you, patronize you?
I would say to future-proof things, just go subscribe to our newsletter on nightsignalentertainment.com because all social media platforms are dying now. So I gotta say that that's
not
the new
wrong.
one. Well, yeah, go there if you want to make sure you actually continue following us past the the heat death of the social media universe,
The internet, yes.
Yeah, of the internet, then there might be a chance we could reach you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send a bird with a message tied to its leg to Nick's house, I guess.
You're my house.
I liked your game.
I'll
That's
mail
all it
you a
says on the
game.
message.
And I'll mail you a pizza roll, all the above. Yeah.
A single pizza roll tied to the back of a
one
mouse
pizza
will
roll.
come scurrying to your house.
It's a super smart mouse.
Well, that does it then, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us.
Heck yeah,
Listen, dear viewer, watcher, make sure to watch the other episodes of the Super Interview Brothers. Like I said, go see The Forbidden Solitaire if you want to see more of Nick's work, but in more straightforward puzzle form.
1995 CD-ROM form.
In 1999 CD-ROM form, exactly. Make sure to catch the new episodes of the Game Treasure podcast every Friday on our YouTube and Spotify, iTunes, wherever you can find podcasts. And until the next episode of the Super Interview Brothers, video games, schmidio games, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me.
Heck yeah, dude. Absolutely.